What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American Politics, back again with a new video. And today, it is time that we really answer the question, how big will the red wave be in the year 2022, just next month? Now, a lot of people have been debating, how big will this red wave truly be? Or will there even be a red wave? Some people question. Well, obviously it's going to be a red wave. And you know what? Today we're going to be ignoring the polling data. Now, I know RCP has Republicans going up in the generic ballot. Rasmussen has shown Republicans picking up steam, and a bunch of other things. But we're going to just ignore the generic ballot for one video and discuss something I think is more important than polling. Well, more than a lesser extent, more important than polling. History and fundamentals. Now, before I forget, of course, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and also join the channel. That is right, folks. For just 10 cents a day, you can join Real American Politics. Only 10 cents a day. Really good deal, and I recommend you join today as it helps support the daily content. We all love that daily content. So I hope you join today. So once again, we're going to be ignoring the generic ballot polling just for one video. But again, the polling is indicating Republicans are, finally starting to get back up to steam. And again, a lot of it could be done with bad polling being a reason why Republicans went down in the polling. Also, different pollsters polling, all that good stuff. So we're just going to ignore that today. And instead look at something I think is more important than the generic ballot polls. And it's somewhat related to the approval rating of Joe Biden. But realistically, it's this spreadsheet here that I created. You see it, folks? This is, in my opinion, the most critical thing about this entire midterm. Why I think this will be one of the bigger red waves, historically speaking. Now, if you don't know, we have history, all right? We have a history of elections in the United States of America. So much, in fact, that we start to build trends to see how big a midterm will truly be. And I did a lot of research, and I've determined there are three factors that determine how big a red wave or a midterm really is for one party. And I call it the true-false statements, all right? And you could apply this to presidential elections. I really haven't. This is meant mostly for midterm elections. And, well, it's pretty accurate. So if you don't know, there are three fundamentals that I think are the most important thing when it comes to a midterm election. Number one, the president's approval. Obviously, if the president's approval is above 50%, that is a good sign for the party in power. For example, this has happened once in modern history. 2002, Bush had an approval rating of around 63%. Now again, that had more to do with 9/11 and all that stuff. And people just believed Bush was doing a good job when related to national security and all that good stuff. So that's important. But if it's below 50%, the party in power, or I should say the opposing party, gets, I guess you could say, a point. It's a true statement that the president's approval is below 50%. Therefore, that's 1 out of 3. The second critical, I guess you could say, fundamental, is the most important issue. Now, this can overlap with the other thing, but generally speaking, whichever party people trust the most on with the most important issue, that tends to correlate with a party doing good. And in 2002, once again, the most important issue is national security, second being the economy. And who did voters trust with the issue of national security? Republicans. They trusted Republicans more on the issue of national security than they did of Democrats. It's just a fact. They trusted Republicans more on national security. All right? And the third fundamental is the economy. All right? Of course, this could be the number one issue like it was in a couple of elections, but generally speaking, it is its own separate thing, all right? Again, it could correlate. It could be the most important issue for some elections, but it's still, no matter what, there. And look at 2002. Democrats, based on exit polling data we did get, remember 2002, the exit poll server, crashed? This is kind of what we got. Voters that voted purely on the economy trusted Democrats the most. So that's one issue the opposing party had going for them. And you see this column here? This is opposing party wins. That means how many of these statements are true. The president's approval is below 50%. That's false. Voters trust the opposing party on, the most important issue. That's also false. But voters trusted the economy towards the Democrats more than Republicans. So that's true. So therefore, Republicans actually gained 7 House seats and gained a Senate seat. Democrats, they had a net gain of -7 in the House and -1 in the Senate. That's what that means. You can clearly tell there's a correlation here. When the president's approval is above 50% and voters trust the party, whichever party is most trust on the issue, most important issue, tends to do well. And 2002 is the only outlier, and the only reason this happened was national security being the number one issue. That's the only reason Republicans gained House seats. So stop this nonsense about, abortion's the number one issue. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Most polling data has abortion maybe number 3. The most important issue is inflation / the economy. Pick one. Either way, Republicans are killing Democrats on the issue of inflation. They just are. And Republicans are more trust on the economy. The number one issue, that's of course inflation / the economy. Again, they can be the same, but also Biden's approval is below 50%. So that's what I call a wave midterm. All right, a wave midterm is that where the opposing party gains significant seats in both the House and the Senate. You look at 2006, all 3 were true. 31 House gains, 5 Senate gains. 2010, same deal. The opposing party, the Republicans, gained 64 in the House, 6 in the Senate. 2014, 13 in the House, but 9 in the Senate. Now, people are going to say, but 2018, yes, Republicans, or I should say Donald Trump, had an approval below 50%. And the most important issue favored Democrats. That was, of course, health care. But, this is the big but. Republicans were more trusted on the economy. And that's why this is 2 out of 3. And sure, Democrats gained 41 House seats, but they lost 2 Senate seats. I wouldn't really call that a big wave year. That's more of just a regular wave type of cycle where, the opposing party may gain a bunch of House seats, but they don't do too well in the Senate, if not do bad in the Senate. Or so the House could be the opposite. But either way, there's a clear correlation. Now, the question is this. What does history suggest the Republicans will gain in both the House and the Senate? Well, it's kind of hard to say. And again, this is technically a small sample. But the average House gains for 3 out of 3 cycles was 36 House seats. As for the Senate, it was 6.6. Now, will that happen? I don't believe so. But it still shows the point that Republicans, they're going to gain in the House and the Senate. It's a matter of how big. It's whether if they gain 31 House seats, they gain 5 Senate seats, which I think this is the most realistic path. They gain 31 in the House, gain 5 in the Senate. Very similar elections, 2006 to 2022. The economy was the number one issue. The president's approval is pretty bad. And the voters trust the opposing party on the number one issue, which is the economy, which means they also trust the opposing party on the economy. So as you can see here, folks, this is why I think this is going to be one of the biggest midterms in a while. Now, will it be as big as 2010? No. 2010 was absurd. I mean, there's a lot of seats Democrats gained. There was no way they were going to hold. They're not going to gain 64, but I think 31 to 36, I think that's going to happen. And I think they're going to gain 3 to 4 in the U.S. Senate. So that's why I think overall, this is going to be a pretty sizable wave for the Republican Party. So again, this idea that the opposing part or the Democrats are somehow going to gain in the House and potentially gain the Senate, that's delusional. History says the opposing party is going to gain substantially in both the House and the Senate. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, join the channel, and yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.